Good morning, everybody. Have a sec here. So today's gap open doing nothing to resolve the schizo price action that went on last week. Prices are in the middle of the range, and one of the comments that I shared with everybody in the weekend letter was over the last few weeks, 3 weeks, I mean, the markets have done nothing. You would think they did something, but reality, they just looking at this on a closing line chart, nothing's going on. So markets are waiting for whatever, going through news, or I mean, they know the Fed's going to raise interest rates, options expiration. We'll see how it unfolds. But you can see on the weekly chart, and I might have a line chart down here. Well, here we go. Here's a line chart. What's going on? Nothing. Whip up, whip down, whip up a little bit, just marking time, creating reference points of support and resistance, waiting to see whether it could possibly make a turn, and up to where the next pivot is here. And one of the other observations, is it this one? I mean, look at the big up day. In the middle of the day, this AD line was higher, but at the end of the day, it backed way off from a bar that looked like this. And then on the down day, it's way down here. So just a lot of running in place, whipping, going back and forth. And we'll have to, as we always do, wait for more information to see how this evolves. And we'll look at other markets. Right now is just going nowhere. What's going to motivate it today? I don't know. It's got room. The futures have room to move up toward some resistance. This area up here. So they are kind of marching up there in a controlled way. They've created this support down here, just below 3,600. So that was you see a whole lot of trading there before the whip up and down, and it returns back to 3,600. Now it's moving up toward resistance, where I suspect sellers are going to show up. I mean, knock it back down to 3,600 again. But, it's just seesawing back and forth, back and forth. Knowing what's going on is a huge advantage, not to get chopped up. Right, spiders, are they gapping? Any significant gap here? And I marked off where it was before we went live. It was right here. Now you can see it's a little bit higher. So drag that up there. Basically in the middle of the red bar. Maybe a little bit more, just eyeballing it, maybe a little bit more. Nothing of real significance there. Can it get back up to the high of the red bar? I suppose it can. It wasn't enough demand. Buyers to continue to come in to push it there. Whether it can close there, that's going to be another story. But the whip is good for scalping. Yeah, it's good for scalping. I mean, there's whips within the whips sometimes. So you got to let it settle down and pick your points. And sometimes you have to give them a little extra room, but message, don't hang around very long. And, as it was on Friday, every little rally that was, counter trend that looked somewhat meaningful. Some of them even reached prior highs. If you're looking at a smaller time frame, and sellers just came in and knocked it back down again. All right, so spiders up here in the middle of the range. Yes, I look. I take another peek at SPX. Sometimes the premiums change from what they were. I had written down 35 and a quarter, which is down here. I think it's got to go through that where it's traveling up to get through this low right here. So, it's got to get through with the overnight data. This created a swing point, a pivot. So it would have to get through there. Getting through there, you're going to have to think about cutting it loose, right? Because let's put it this way. If it continues to rally up here into 10 o'clock or whatever, the probability of going back down here is, it could go down there, but you'll have plenty of time to get out of the way and take the money. And 37.20, that's actually increasing. So you can go 37 and a quarter, which now, this is 37.12, and I would wait at the open since things are moving up. If it continues to push up here, right? So the downside could be done at the open. Let me just look at 37 and a quarter. 60 by 70 now was a little bit more before. Whether you want to go to 37.30, it's probably okay. I think there's this void. The good part is as this is marching up toward these resistance areas, it's going to have to travel so far to try and get down there. And it'll probably stop in the middle of the range, 3,600. So you want to be above here, and you can't get below here, but you're relatively close. You think so, Alex? I could look. They went down first, right? So here's the UK, and here's France. There's a wide range bars. Some of them didn't retrace as far as Germany, and I don't think anything looks good. One of the you had these big green days, but you got consumer discretionary giving it all back on Friday, and of course materials gave it all back. So I didn't find any of this very encouraging. I think the more information is needed, but you had this reversal that occurred universally everywhere as SPX tipped its toe below 3,500. And I think at that point, sellers got scared and the whole thing unfolded. You see the weekly time frames are the same, just running in place, going a lot of nowhere. Well, we're going to talk about Italy. All I care about is food. Nothing to trade there for me. All right. Oh, NASDAQ flip-flopping around here. It's in a downtrend. It's been weaker. Just look at the moving average, the 20 MA just pointing straight down. Do you recommend swing trading for a prop firm? I think most prop firms are a joke. You got to go get licensed. You got to take whatever class they want. You got to take a test for FINRA, which is brain damage. You got to put up your own money to risk your money to protect them from losing their own money. Open up a futures account. No test. Put up your money. Trade futures. Trade micro contracts. This prop firm thing is a thing of the past. Futures have the same patterns. Yeah, I mean, certain stocks are better to trade than others, whatever, at certain times. But you can trade, currencies. You can trade ags. You can trade equities. So why go to a prop firm that's only there to extract money from you for commissions and whatever other fees they can get? All right, not much happening elsewhere. The Dow actually held up relatively well, especially if you look at, um, you know, the Dow that's quoted. It held that low in the wide range bar. The one thing I would say is you look at all these, it's like, yeah, the volume picked up, but I mean, it should have been massive. I mean, the volume spike should have been tremendous, and it wasn't. And just looking at the bars, gapping up and the stayed in the upper third. It's at resistance. So I'm still waiting. They got the waiting something of more significance to occur. We've got, the dollar moving lower today. So the usual inverse relationships are moving up, like silver, down here at support, and gold. Maybe this is a breakdown failure. So maybe it's the start of something. Maybe the dollar keeps pulling back, but what do we have? The 13 week is still up here. So really not much. I just need more information. I can tell you that. Other than day trading scalps, I don't see much here to get excited about yet. And Bitcoin just been here forever. And every time it gets up there, it gets knocked down. It comes down here. It gets bought, and you can see it's a relatively tight range on the weekly time frame at the support. So no clear information there. And it's gold, crude oil. Everything's pretty messy, no matter where you look. TBT, interest rates marching higher, moving a little lower today. So look, interest rates are down a little bit, dollars down a little bit, markets are having the knee-jerk reaction. Other than that, it's basically a wait and see, just as far as something bigger happening. Interest rates pushing higher. We thought, hey, it's a little extended here. It's getting more extended. Those using oscillators saying, hey, it's overbought. They'll have to change the settings so it's not overbought. Then it'll have room to go up. So what else? VIX hanging up at the highs, up at resistance, but not backing away. I don't find any clues here. Sentiment is neutral. Breath is neutral. Dan and I are going to the beach. I don't know, maybe something will happen today. But, as I look around at all of this information, I just don't come up with anything other than to say, hey, is something, gapping, is something moving today? And or scalper type setups. And we'll see how that changes today or not. All yours, Dan. Check NG. NG. There's something breaking down. I don't know what that looks like. It can go lower. Yeah. Natural gas futures. And what's that? What is the ETF for that? UNG, or is that just
Yeah,
gas? That's
yeah,
gas.
UNG.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, maybe that's it.
Yeah, I mean that's a good sign for Europe. You know, they got this big old energy problem this winter. So yeah, last Thursday and Friday were pretty darn weird. And now with the gap up, I think we're just range bound. I actually had an email this morning. Somebody asking me, "Hey, you know, Dan, you know, when do you decide?" You know, in essence, he's saying, "How do you use the horseman bias to you know to swing trade patterns that you like?" And I said, "Well, we obviously want them on our side. We want to, but if you're entering a compelling pattern." And you know, you think the tide's about to go out because you're at a turning spot with the market and the internals, then that's not a good, you just, unless you genuinely think it's on its own page, then you don't want to fight the broader market at the turns. And I actually said today with the gap up, and this was like an hour ago before it is going up even more here. I said, look, with the gap up today, we're range bound between Thursday and Friday. So I said I will take any compelling setup today, day or swing. I mean, obviously we'll go through them one by one as we always do, but like my bias right now in the market is I'm not interested in trading the horseman, but it's neutral. So go ahead. I'm not fighting it. Diamonds actually was the best, had the least retracement into this bar. So if we do get a nice control pullback, maybe into 10 a.m., this would be a great zero DTE trade. Yeah, I got two alarms going off Boeing. There was tons of 123s, which remember we scanned them all together on Friday. The list when we started was 114. And then over the weekend, it dropped down to 76, I think. And so I did that video where I just went through every single one, but we're getting all these because of Thursday's wide range bar and inside bar. And so we want to focus on the ones that have the best overall pattern and relative strength. So yeah, Boeing is a fantastic example. So that's why I just sent in Telegram Boeing and GM. Now this Boeing can be a directional also if we get an intraday setup. I like GM. I like the gap reversal after a climb-o. So W bottom, new low plus on major support. I'm not crazy about the way it came down from this bearish gap, so it's not a directional to me. But those are two trades we gave our weekly options trader that I just sent an alert saying they're good to go if you get filled because they're gapping over the entries. But that's a 1, 2, 3. It's beautiful. Alex gave me a couple donut here. My alarm went off. I had an alarm at 13, but this is a 30-minute high idea. There wasn't enough juice for a put spread, but and I like the ones that are not gapping over Friday's high because then that gives us more time to see how they set up, hopefully within the first hour. So that's on my list, even though I didn't put it in the letter. Aluminum, yeah, that's a buy. It's a buy setup with a gap reversal turn at the 20, and then red bar ignored. If it takes it out, I'll set an alarm at 205. And sorry if you hear the gardener out there. I'll set an alarm at 204.50. We actually don't have that much inventory because a couple of them stopped out break even. We're still in Dow. That's a beautiful 1, 2, 3. So that we're in a put spread already. And you know what? I noticed that it has earnings this week. I missed that when we put it on. But so we might tighten our stop if you don't want to hold over earnings. But that's a wide range bullish turn that formed a big double bottom. Ford was on there too, sloppy like GM, but beautiful put spreads. Cruise ships here, trying to make the turn. This would be another beautiful $40 put trade. Delta, when I was watching Fox News over the weekend, some guy was on saying that their PE is only like 6. And I said, wow. There's no pattern though, but we'll keep an eye on airlines. I did look at them. This is a big double bottom, higher low turn in the gap fill. I would like this one as a directional if it didn't gap up too much as it did on Friday. If this were more of a regular 1, 2, 3 inside bar, then that looks like it can take out that prior high. Hotels here, Marriott, big double bottom. Marriott's usually juicy. Let's see if we can get one down here. SMG up alarm. I have been watching this dog for weeks. I did sell a $35 put on this on Friday. So I see one print up there. Schwab, possible earnings short. Well, it's a nasty 180 breakdown, closing breakdown. It's up here with the broader markets. I mean, it's up at 70.75. So it's right there. It's a third retracement. So that's a watch. Ideally, we get a 1, 2, 3. And the other earnings stocks here were BAC. I'm shocked that this is holding so well after Thursday's big bar, but look at that. It's almost here to the 50 MA. That's too extended for me now. So Schwab will keep on the list. Burger King, 40-50. So that's a put spread idea. Let's see how jacked they are at the open. I'll put that in a little window. Let's see. Apple got an upgrade. No pattern though, although put spread Thursday's low would be okay. FedEx. Yeah, we call that a minor 1, 2, 3 because Thursday's bar is not a wide range bar, which would make it more compelling of a turn. But yeah, I like that. Yeah, that got crushed here on the profit warning. And this reminds me of Greg's slowing momentum video. I mean, it doesn't take little Johnny can tell you, oh yeah, the selling is eased, went up and now it's going sideways. You don't need to be a brain surgeon to see that. So I'll put that in a window. FedEx. We actually are talking about FedEx. We have IYT as a put spread. So that's a double bottom, new low plus, red bar ignored. So that's a no-brainer put spread for this week. My Adobe alarm just went off. That's a 1, 2, 3. We already have a put spread on it. Went against us a little bit. Let me set a new alarm at 300. And a low alarm 288. Where was I? Splunk. This Splunk is one of these silly stories again, where an activist investor announced that he accumulated 5%. So the idiot public gaps it up 10%. That's just always just amazed me how they get lured into that. It's past tense. He's telling you, I did it already. And that's why we say we trade people, not stocks. China here, there's a lot of talk about Xi's speech or whatever he did. So that and how that affects semis and so forth. Trump, Biden did another negative cutoff. I say that one was greater than 50% retracement, but for a day trade, other than the fact that it's up 6 green bars right now, if this went sideways, if this gapped up like it did over this 15-minute pivot, and then went sideways into the open with this big price void, that would have been a fantastic 10-minute high for a day trade. All right, got a bunch of alarms going off. ANF, I gave us a put spread. That's good to go. Aluminum alarm went off. Let me put that right here. Aluminum. Yeah, this looks good. I'm just, because we ran so much pre-market, I'm just going to chill here a little bit. The tick and AD line are both very bullish here. Well, Stephen, that's actually the problem of giving too many, because that's you just get overwhelmed. Yeah, FedEx looks great. We can do, I don't know, just I personally kind of like 10 minutes on Mondays, but it looks good. Our IIPR marijuana is doing well. Got a nice gap up. I'm going to check put spread and directional. So the low here, let's call it 149. 28 cents by 95. Wow, that's incredibly spready. You know what? I'm going to say let's just buy 5-minute high. It looks good.